Damn, Missy Mari got beat.
What's happening, guys? Silent Mike checking in, another voiceover. We're going to talk a little bit about splits, a little bit about programming, a little bit about cookie cutter programs. Hopefully you guys have heard me before talk about cookie cutter programs and why they are valid. As much as we want to be the little snowflake, the special person, the special kid that our mamas told us, we are made up of the same tissues and strength training principles. The basic strength training principles work for the majority of us. They work for all of us. But yes, there will be some slight variances in our genetic code, in our experiences, in our age, obviously in our goals. Our goals really determine the majority of the factor in our programming and what we need. And beyond that, a lot of the same programs work for a lot of us. And even with having different goals, building strength and size for the majority, for the basics, go hand in hand. And that's why Kaizen is what I created, because I worked with personally different athletes using similar programs. And personally, as an athlete myself, I've trained multiple programs that are out there, I've paid for, or that are free, and they have worked for me. And then I know that they work for many. Beyond studying and talking to different coaches and learning different programs, we all can benefit from the same programs. What's the best program to get strong? Something that you can stick to, something that works for you. The main difference, I'd say, is the frequency that somebody can handle and maybe the volume, although I think we can all handle similar amounts of volume depending on the frequency and also depending on how efficient we are at the movements. There's beginners that are very efficient at a movement that can handle a lot of frequency and a lot of volume. Likewise, obviously beginners can handle a good amount of volume just because they're not handling the loads an experienced person can. Those are the main factors that kind of differentiate the people from that need, maybe custom programs. If you're trying to go from an 850 pound deadlift to a 900 pound deadlift, sure, basic 531 may not work for you. Although I would honestly argue it may work for some. If you're trying to go from a 315 deadlift to a 405 deadlift, many different programs can help. Even going from 500 to 600, many different programs can help many different people. The customization from that, hopefully you can learn as an athlete and either add or take away exercise variations, accessories that you need, but the basic platform on many of them will work. Now you guys that have been following along, hopefully you go back and check out my weightlifting series that's dropping. Check out my diet series that is continuing to drop. I'm been dieting for a while, but right now we're really tightening it up, and I got about 8 weeks to some big projects that I really want to lose extra weight. So hopefully stay tuned for the vlogs and the diet for that. I'm dropping the last 15 pounds and hopefully the last 8+ weeks, and we're really turning it up. But I've mentioned I am weightlifting 2 to 3 times a week. I am powerlifting about 3 times a week. I'm still doing some hypertrophy and bodybuilding, power building, if you will, 3 times a week, and hitting cardio 4 times a week. So how does that fit in? What's the best split? What's the best program for your goals? Well, first you have to understand the frequency, as we mentioned. Frequency is going to be key. So if you are squatting 3 times a week, benching 3 times a week, and deadlifting twice a week, well, that's more than 7 days. You need to overlap. So there is no split. Split in bodybuilding maybe is different in old school stuff. Obviously, there's an arm day, a shoulder day, a back day. Do I deadlift on back day? This and that. As a strength athlete, and I think even as a aesthetics athlete, you need to start to prioritize the lifts themselves, because progressing in the lifts, progressive overload in the main lifts, or any lift you choose, even a curl, will overall drive the hypertrophy you want to look better. So once we start to understand, okay, I need to do biceps 3 times a week. Rather than having 3 arm days, you can just do 3 bicep workouts on top of your squat workouts, or curl days on top of your squat days. That way, we're not restricted by 7 days a week or restricted by a certain body part, but rather we are getting the amount of work we need done within maybe a 7-day period, just because our calendar and the moon and the Aztecs and the history of the world, we're using 7 days a week. That's just how it goes. So those are the guidelines that we're given. But you have to focus on how much frequency you need to grow a certain body part. If your biceps are lagging, you maybe need 4 different curl sessions a week. Well, then you overlap those because you also have a back issue and your back's not big enough, and then you need 3 different, chin up and row variations a week, spreading those out over time and even overlapping them, even though, sometimes it doesn't make sense to do a bicep with a curl because they don't complement each other or this and that. We just have to get a certain amount of work done within a week, and a week's just an easy guideline to do that. So currently what I'm doing, Mondays, I'm basically combining, as I mentioned, the Kaizen fat loss and the Kaizen power building, because I am my own test dummy for a lot of our programs. So I have the rough outline of that. So my Monday, Wednesday, Friday are my hypertrophy days. I basically am kind of doing back and arms based on the power building program. A lot of supersets, a lot of moving around. Also on those days, normally in a different session, I'm doing high intensity interval training on a spin bike. I got an awesome spin bike. I didn't know it, but bodybuilding.com kind of has everything. They sell shitloads of stuff. So I grabbed a spin bike from them. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday are my typical powerlifting days. And so I'm squatting 3 times a week, benching 3 times a week, overhead about 2 or 3 times a week, and deadlifting once with some stiff legs on another day. So Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday are my typical powerlifting days. I'm focusing on the barbell movements. My weightlifting days right now are Tuesday, Thursday. So Tuesday, Thursdays, I'm basically pulling a double day. Do I suggest this? Not really. I'm a walking experiment. I'm trying to figure things out. Right now, the loads I'm handling in weightlifting are so low. If I just cleaned 100 kilos for the first time, and that's nothing compared to 600, 700 pound deadlift. So my body is recovering just fine, although it is a little bit of extra work. And then Saturdays, I'll throw in some kind of weightlifting accessory in terms of just trying to get mobility back on my shoulders to work on my snatch. Sundays, I like to take totally off. If I have a little extra energy or I am bored, I will go for a bike ride, maybe outside or on the spin bike, go for a walk, something like that, something to stay active. And then again, just hitting my macros every single day to go towards this diet that I'm really excited about. I hit a new low today. You guys will get updated on everything with the diet series. Be sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, because YouTube's being weird and it won't show you the videos. I am dropping 4 videos a week, so be sure to come back, check the channel, make sure you're caught up on everything. I appreciate all the support I'm getting on all these videos. All the positivity in the comments is fucking awesome. I'm stoked on it. Positivity and progress is what we're chasing down, guys. Chasing that passion to lead to positivity, to lead to change, not only within ourselves, but to hopefully positively impact and be contagious with others. That's it for this one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed a little bit of the footage. This was, again, a Thursday, so a little bit of squat, a little bit of bench. I didn't do many accessories, although I am adding in overhead on those days if my shoulders are healthy, if they're feeling not too beat up from the weightlifting. Please do me a favor, give this a thumbs up. Do me a favor, check out the weightlifting series. I know it's a little bit different, but I just want to show you guys my journey, me sucking, me growing, me stepping out of my comfort zone. I want you guys to understand that it's okay to suck, it's okay to grow, it's okay to learn, it's okay to be a beginner again. It isn't fun. It's not great on my ego. It's not always fun to fucking suck. But I'm doing it to show you guys that I walk the walk, not just talk the talk, although I do talk a lot. Appreciate everyone. Silentmike, I'm out.